story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Ebunlomo Adekunle in our major story. A suicide bomber strike in the popular Central Motor Market in Mayan Tasha in the Yobe State capital, Damaturu, killing 10 people. Also in this program, the campaign team of President Goodluck Jonathan say former President Olusegun Obasanjo is trying to play God following his recent attacks on the president over what the ex-president terms the Gbagbo syndrome. Borno State's governor declares a work-free day for the campaign rally of the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari. And outside Nigeria, police in the Danish capital of Copenhagen say the gunman who attacked two places in the city on Saturday has been killed. A female suicide bomber has killed at least 10 people at Damaturu Central Motor Park, a bus station in the northeast Nigerian city. Yobe State Commissioner of Police Marcus Danladi said that 32 people were injured in the attack. Witnesses say the assailant entered the station in a vehicle, got out and walked towards a small grocery store at the end of the terminal. According to one shop owner who prefers anonymity, she then positioned herself in the crowd outside the store and blew herself up, said one shop owner at the station. Another shop owner in Damaturu, the capital of Yobe State, says that an angry mob prevented emergency workers from evacuating the remains of the bomber. They gathered the pieces and set them on fire, he said. The police in Kano State have confirmed the killing of two gunmen suspected to be Boko Haram members in Kibiya local government area of the state. The command's public relations officer, ASP Magaji Majia, confirmed the incident in an interview with newsmen in Kano. He said the incident occurred late Saturday afternoon about 5:30 p.m. when gunmen, numbering about 6, stormed the police station on 2 motorcycles, but the police repelled the attack. He added that one of the gunmen was killed during an exchange of fire while the other was lynched by the community while trying to escape. Going further, he said 2 of the gunmen were also arrested and are now assisting the police in their investigation. Maji said the gunmen also abandoned one of their motorcycles before fleeing the area, adding that the police did not sustain any injury or death during the encounter. However, added that security has since been beefed up in the area, adding that the neighboring states have been alerted in order to arrest the fleeing hoodlums. A local governor, Kala Mutari, has confirmed that several dozens of people suspected of having links to Nigeria's Boko Haram have been arrested in southern Niger since the start of cross-border attacks by the Islamist group a week ago. The suspects, according to Mutari, have been sent to an anti-terrorist unit in the capital, Niamey. Boko Haram launched a series of cross-border attacks in Niger's remote Difa area on February 6th. The region is across the border from northeastern Nigeria, Boko Haram's stronghold. Mutari also said the suspects were all arrested at checkpoints on access roads into Zinda, Niger's second largest city home, some 400 kilometers west of Difa. It said some 10,000 people have fled the violence in Difa to Zinda, and that the checkpoints allowed authorities to intercept those who have infiltrated the displaced people. President Goodluck Jonathan says he is always worried whenever he hears unexpected public utterances being made against the Nigerian military. The president said Nigerians must learn to respect members of the nation's security forces because while they are sleeping in their houses, the security men are on the streets making sacrifices. Jonathan, who spoke during a presidential dinner he organized in honor of widows of the nation's fallen heroes at the presidential villa, Abuja, added that he decided to host the widows, the first in the nation's history, because his government appreciates their husbands who have paid the supreme sacrifice while securing the nation. He therefore asked all Nigerians to continue to appreciate the contribution of the security forces to the nation's peace. The police operatives attached to Ilikpeju Sabo Division of the Ogun State Police Command have arrested some Fulani herdsmen who robbed households at Atoba Estate in Sabo area of Abeokuta at gunpoint some days after the operation in Abeokuta. The arrest came as vigilante members of the community who had placed the suspected armed robbers under surveillance sighted the robbers while rearing their herd of cattle around the area and were able to identify them as the people who robbed them and carted away their belongings some weeks back. The community leaders then contacted the divisional police officer in charge of the area, Benga Megbope, who led a team of anti-robbery to the scene where the robbers were arrested. The arrested herdsmen led police to their hideout in a jungle called Igbolodumare along Igboara Road, Ogun State, where two other Fulani herdsmen were arrested and a gun with cartridges recovered from them. Other weapons recovered from them include some cutlasses, expended cartridges, assorted charms, and dummy guns. The suspected robbers arrested by the police include Aruna Ibrahim, Usman Baruna, and Aruna Usman. The acting commissioner of police in Ogun State, DSP Ali Rugwandu, has directed that the matter be immediately transferred to the Department of Criminal Investigation, Elewera Abeokuta, for thorough investigation. He also assured the good people of Ogun State of adequate protection of lives and property, and the command says it will not relent in its efforts to achieve effective policing of the state. The Zone 2 Police Command in Lagos State has declared 10 suspected bankers wanted over alleged 125.1 million naira scam. The command spokesman Benga Adeoye, who confirmed this in Lagos, said it is normal for the police to declare wanted anybody suspected of crime. According to him, the suspects, now at large, are being investigated over alleged forgery and obtaining money by false pretense. The suspects are said to have conspired with others to obtain financial facilities of 15,055,541 naira, 10,894,478 naira, and 24,597,628 naira. Other amounts that were obtained are 9 million naira, 983,195 naira, 11,114,992 naira, 12 million naira, 8 million naira, 10 million naira, 5 million naira, and 15 million naira respectively from a bank. The suspected bankers are between the ages of 34 and 48. Governor Jonah Jang of Plateau State has made a case for death sentence for producers and marketers of harmful drugs in order to curtail the incidence of drug abuse across the country. Jang, who spoke through a representative at the passing out parade of 255 senior officers of basic course of NDLEA's Regional Academy for Drug Control in Jos. CoreTV News brings you this update on the story.
The Governor, Jonah Jang, who spoke through the State Commissioner for Education, Comfort Piwuna, says the supreme price is necessary to deter drug barons from the illicit trade that is destroying Nigerian youth and the larger society.
Thank God the legal luminary is here. You look into it so that growers and distributors of this deadly poison will face the maximum sentence and let it be a death sentence. Anybody caught growing or distributing, he should just be sentenced to death. We are sure that that will be a lesson to other growers and distributors of this poison that is destroying our children.
In our response to the call for a death penalty for those involved in the drug trade, the Director General of the agency, Rolly Bode George, says the death penalty is no longer in vogue in the international circle.
I know how passionate that the Plateau State Governor is about fighting drugs. I understand that when you understand the menace that it does, especially if you take things like meth that damages the brain and disfigures the brain and things like that, then you begin to become very worrisome of the things that it does. But we must abide by the fundamental human rights and the conventions that Nigeria has signed to, and we will look for stiff penalties for those offenders, drug offenders, but death penalty might not be the way to go for now, because that is no longer best international practices. We will look for stiffer sentences, but definitely not a penalty.
Chairman and the Chief Executive of the NDLEA, Amadou Giade, charged the officers to carry out their duties in strict compliance with the law. Commandant of the Academy, Shegun Oke, says the 255 graduating cadets will be posted across the 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Capital Territory, and the country's international borders.
The Director, Naval Information, Kabiru Aliyu, has confirmed that the federal government has procured 4 new warships for the Nigerian Navy. Aliyu, whose comments were contained in a statement, says the 4 warships will be inaugurated by President Goodluck Jonathan on Thursday at the Naval Dockyard Limited, Victoria Island, Lagos. He added that the new ships will enhance the Navy's operations against contemporary security challenges, especially in the nation's maritime domain. Aliyu says the exercise is unique because this is the first time the Navy will be taking delivery of 4 warships at once. The naval spokesman describes the gesture as a demonstration of the efforts of the government to reposition the Navy to meet contemporary challenges. You're watching the CoreTV Primetime News. We'll be back after this timeout with details on the war of words between former President Olusegun Obasanjo and the People's Democratic Party. Stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Many thanks for being there. For more news and other information, you can visit our social media platforms. On Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. Tweet at us at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then news. If you're just joining us, it's the CoreTV Primetime News. Here are the reminders of our major stories. A suicide bomber struck the popular Central Motor Park Market in Mayan Tasha in the Yobe State capital, Damaturu, killing 10 people. The campaign team of President Goodluck Jonathan say former President Olusegun Obasanjo is trying to play God following his recent attacks on the president over what the ex-president termed the Gbagbo syndrome. Borno State government declares a work-free day for the campaign rally of the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari. The 80-year-old father of Joshua Dariye, the former governor of Plateau State, who was kidnapped on Saturday, February 7th, at his home in Mushere, Bokos local government area of Plateau State, was found in Kwampan local government area in the state this morning. His kidnappers released him after a lot of pressure from SSS operatives who have been on their trail from Plateau to Nasarawa State and back. 4 persons have, however, been arrested in connection with his kidnap. Difwang Dariye has since been handed over to his son, Joshua Dariye. According to police sources, no ransom was paid, though his abductors had demanded a ransom of $10 million for his release. The People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Organization has asked former President Olusegun Obasanjo to stop playing God over his numerous criticisms of President Goodluck Jonathan. The Director of Media and Publicity of the organization, Femi Fani-Kayode, debunked the allegations, saying the former president, under whom he served as Minister of Aviation and Special Assistant on Public Communication, was trying to play God. Fani-Kayode, while speaking at a press briefing in Abuja, says his former boss is trying in vain to control President Jonathan. He added that the problem between the 2 members of the ruling party has nothing to do with Nigeria and called on the former president to leave Nigeria out of the issues between him and the president. It says the ruling party will continue to hold the former president in high esteem, but added that he should leave Nigeria out of his fight with the president. Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayese says former President Olusegun Obasanjo is fighting President Goodluck Jonathan because he has been prevented from ruling Nigeria from his Ota farm. In a statement issued by Special Assistant on Public Communications and New Media, Larry Olayinka, the governor expressed confidence that Jonathan will be re-elected to complete his 8-year term. It says that the former president is always trying to destroy anything that he does not control, adding that he is a cancer that cannot be cured in a lifetime. It says the failure of the former president to run the government is why he is supporting Muhammadu Buhari. He also berated the former president for his failure to immortalize late MKO Abiola and wondered why he is fighting Jonathan for doing what he failed to do in office. The All Progressives Congress has accused those who are mortally afraid of the 2015 general elections of sponsoring the circulation of leaflets urging the people of Gombe State to stay away from the polling booths on election days or risk being in trouble. In a statement in Lagos by its National Publicity Secretary, Lai Mohammed, the party says it cannot put anything beyond the People's Democratic Party and the Goodluck Jonathan administration because of the desperation to ensure that the general elections did not hold at all costs. The party said even the attack on Gombe on Saturday was suspect, wondering how Boko Haram insurgents would drive on the highway from Maiduguri to Gombe in a convoy of many vehicles without being spotted or stopped at the myriad of military checkpoints dotting the areas. APC said it was curious that the Boko Haram terrorists, who have never mentioned the elections in their regular videos on YouTube, suddenly started campaigning against the conduct of elections. The party also noted that the local government elections in Yobe, one of the hotbeds of the Boko Haram insurgency, went without any incident in 2013, indicating there had not been a systematic campaign by the insurgents to attack voters. APC said the alarm raised by Mike Omeri, the coordinator of the National Information Center, that some female suicide bombers might strike at polling units during the elections fits into the PDP Jonathan administration's opposition stronghold, depopulating strategy. The party added that the federal government does not want the elections to hold due to a fear of massive defeat, while also disclosing that Ghana used the PVCs during its last elections without any problem. The Independent National Electoral Commission has challenged the Director of Media and Publicity of the People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Organization, Femi Fani-Kayode, to prove his allegation that the Commission is intentionally preventing would-be voters from claiming their permanent voter cards. Fani-Kayode had at a press conference in Abuja on Wednesday alleged that the PVCs are still in China where they were produced and are yet to be imported to Nigeria. But the Chief Press Secretary to Jega Kayode says that the onus lies on Fani-Kayode to validate his claims. It says the Commission has extended the collection deadline and that Nigerians should make use of the opportunity to pick up their PVCs, adding that the Commission cannot drag people out of their homes to pick up the PVCs. He also says anyone who does not pick up his or PVC is the one responsible of disenfranchisement and not INEC. Borno State government has declared Monday as a work-free day for the presidential campaign rally of the All Progressives Congress candidate, Muhammadu Buhari. This announcement was contained in a statement by the Secretary to the state government, Ahmed Jida, made available to journalists in Maiduguri on Sunday. Jida said the gesture was to enable residents of the state welcome Buhari to the state for his campaign rally. Jida called on APC party supporters to come out en masse to welcome the guests. The SSG added, Governor Kashim Shettima has enjoined all Borno residents to come out and line up the streets to welcome the People's General. The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, says his administration will run a market-based economy with clear and unambiguous regulatory framework and effective enforcement mechanism with zero tolerance for corruption. Buhari was quoted to have promised that his APC-led government will insist on and cut out wastages and run a lean and efficient administration in order to have funds available for capital and development projects that will assure prosperity for all Nigerians. This was contained in a statement by the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Organization in Abuja on Sunday. The statement, signed by the organization's Directorate of Media and Publicity, quoted Buhari to have said this ahead of his town hall meeting at the Nightlinks Resort in Enugu on Monday. He is also quoted to have said that his envisaged presidency will deepen a viable free market economy in the country and that businesses will enjoy marked differences in the environment for undertaking their activities. Vice President Namadi Sambo has urged Islamic clerics to educate their followers on the need to obey Islamic injunctions and respect constituted authorities. The Vice President, who was speaking at the opening ceremony of a seminar for Islamic clerics, also reminded them of their duties as custodians of the society's moral authority. For their part, Kaduna State Governor Ramalan Yero and Emir of Benin Gwari both urged politicians to tread with caution as God gives power to whom he wishes.
Thank you very much. This is a very important Islamic sensitization conference on peaceful, non-violent election come this March elections. And from what has been said clear that we will all go back home and preach peace, non-violence, and ensure that we have a peaceful election from the 28th of March and 11th of April in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
As I was telling the NTA crew, we believe that leadership belongs to Allah. He gives it to whom He wants at the time He wants to. So all people who are looking for leadership should ask from Allah, and Allah will give it to the right person. And whoever is given, we as Muslims we shall follow him. That's why in my speech I said that parents should guide their children. I know that it's too late for the ones who have already gone astray, but Allah can do it. The parents speak to their children and teach them to abide by the rules of the country, the rules of Allah, and that intoxication and killing people or doing things like that is not the right thing.
Reactions have continued to trail the decision of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to postpone the date of the 2015 general elections, with the latest coming from a group of activists in Lagos. The activists, who were led to the Gani Fawayimi Park in Ojota by Lagos lawyer Femi Falana, say they will not accept any further postponement of the elections. They also held a mock election and say it is symbolic of the readiness of the people of Nigeria for the conduct of the elections.
Today was designed for the election. What we have done this afternoon is a symbolic protest against the postponement of the election, for which there was no basis. But we're also here to warn the government that will not accept any further postponement.
Yes.
And what has happened today is just a tip of the iceberg. We are just warning the government because we are going to go back to reorganize.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think that is no longer news. I think it's now very clear that the postponement is deliberately designed to promote extension of the tenure.
The factional governorship candidates of the All Progressives Grand Alliance in Abia State, Reagan Ufomba, says any further adjustment to the 2015 election timetable will be an invitation to anarchy, as such action will be vigorously resisted by Nigerians. Ufomba, who made the declaration in his country home while addressing his kinsmen from the 10 autonomous communities in Ntiga land, says Nigerians are fully prepared for the polls and cannot afford to accept any upward review of the timetable. Ufomba also accused the ruling PDP of running the country's economy, contending that under the watch of PDP, Naira's lost its value. He warned against ballot snatching and electoral malpractices during the polls, vowing to mobilize a vibrant youth task force in his hometown to resist any attempts to snatch ballot boxes. The National Orientation Agency in Kwara State has urged all Kwara residents to vote rightly. As part of efforts aimed at educating the people of the state, the Deputy Director of Programs for the agency in the state, Adeyemi Olusegun, urged all eligible voters to vote right to ensure that the state experiences a very low number of voided votes in the elections.
At the various state levels too, we have conducted voter education campaign to enlighten the electorate on how to vote. What we are focusing on this year is to ensure that we have less void votes. As you have heard, our appeal to politicians and to the electorate is to ensure that they vote correctly. There are samples of ballot paper with which we use to educate Nigerians. We are also not relenting on our effort to ensure that we shun apathy. There are times that people don't come out because they believe their vote may not count. This time around, and from the look of things, what you have heard so far, you will discover that our vote must count. Is to make sure you obtain your voter's card, the permanent voter's card. We have heard that without permanent voter's card, you cannot vote. It's still on. We are appealing to Kwarans to go out there at the various local government level and obtain their permanent voters card.
Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose has challenged ex-Governor Kayode Fayemi to prove how soldiers rigged the June 21st governorship election in his favor. Speaking with journalists in Ado-Ekiti, Fayose declared that he is ready to defend himself before a court of competent jurisdiction in what seems like a reaction to the interview granted by Fayemi on an Akure, Ondo State-based Adaba 88.9 FM last Thursday. Fayose says Fayemi is only playing to the gallery. Also, the People's Democratic Party in the Southwest Zone has urged Fayemi to accept that he lost the election because Ekiti people simply rejected him in a statement in Ado-Ekiti by the Publicity Secretary Dario Motosho. The party says the new angle to the All Progressives Congress propaganda is more like taking an illusion too far and testing the will of Ekiti people into Nigerians. Fayemi in the interview said some soldiers are ready to testify in support of the leaked audio file on how chieftains of the People's Democratic Party connived with the military to rig the June 21st, 2015 Ekiti governorship election. The other file, released by Sahara Reporters, an online medium, detailed how Fayose, then candidate of the People's Democratic Party, a former Minister of State for Defense, Musiliu Obanikoro, Iyolo Mishore, Minister of Police Affairs, Jelili Adeshinyo, and the military allegedly rigged the poll. But Fayose says all that Fayemi is trying to do is to rubbish election adjudged best by local and international observers. We'll take another break now, and when we return, we'll be returning with business, sports, and other stories from outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Thank you for being there. Many local airlines have started expressing fear over the recapitalization exercise by the Ministerial Committee on Aeronautical Charges. The Aonsi Inugbe Committee stated that based on its findings, it recommended that the domestic airlines minimum capital base be increased to 5 billion naira from 500 million naira due to the fact that the minimum capital base is not enough to maintain one airline. But the domestic airlines say if this is approved and enforced, many may go under as the exchange rate can barely meet the cover cost of maintenance and operations. Nigeria has 9 airlines operating domestic routes, but due to several challenges ranging from aviation fuel to maintenance check, which is done overseas, most airlines may not be able to survive. There's been panic in the distribution companies and generation companies since the 1st of February following the sanction by the Commission to punish any operator who errs in the electricity industry. For the distribution companies, DISCO, there are major concerns that there has been some breach of contract. However, the order, which dated December 31st, 2014, had directed all relevant market participants, service providers in the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC to comply with effect from February 1st, 2015. From that date, the market would be governed with a strict application of the terms and conditions of the multi-year tariff Order 2.1 that was approved on December 24th, 2014 and became effective from February 1st, 2015. The tariff order, according to NERC, ensures the market participants now have a cost-reflective tariff. Apple Incorporation is working on an electric vehicle, according to e-consumer electronics giant, is open to stepping outside its lucrative focus on mobile devices. Apple has put a few hundred employees to work on the secretive project. Apple often tests ideas that don't get released, and the effort work may not lead to the company introducing an automobile, an unidentified source says. The project is codenamed Titan, which resembles a minivan. Apple's senior vice president of marketing, Phil Schiller, said in 2012 court testimony that executives discussed building a car even before it released the iPhone in 2007. And now to sports. Lionel Messi scored his 23rd hat-trick on his 300th La Liga appearance for Barcelona, who swept past Levante. The result means Barca are once again only a point behind leaders Real Madrid, who beat Deportivo La Coruna 2-0 on Saturday. Neymar scored the opener with an effort that spun in off his foot before Messi drilled in, tapped home his second, and then made it 4-0 from the spot. Luis Suarez scored the goal of the game when he acrobatically volleyed in. It was a stunning finish by the substitutes that mirrored the excellent performance by Barca, who have now won their last 11 games in all competitions, equaling the streak in 2008-2009 under the then coach Pep Guardiola. Barcelona's Luis Suarez scored the fifth Barca goal with a stunning finish. Barca opened the scoring in rather fortunate circumstances when Neymar's strike from Messi's delivery spun up in the air before dropping just over the line. Les Bazare was the Barcelona's second. Messi was again alert to what was going on behind him, latching on to Marc Bartra's pass before firing in. We'll take another break now and would be back with a story from outside Nigeria.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Police in the Danish capital of Copenhagen say they believe a man shot dead by the officers was the sole perpetrator of two fatal attacks in the Danish capital. Police say video surveillance indicated the man was behind an attack at a panel discussion about Islam and free speech, in which one man died on Saturday and the shooting of another man outside Copenhagen's main synagogue early on Sunday. Lars Vilks, the Swedish cartoonist whose controversial caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad sparked worldwide protests in 2007, had been among the speakers at the Krodetjunden Cultural Center when a man opened fire. A 55-year-old man was killed when the gunman sprayed bullets at the cultural center, while a young Jewish man was gunned down outside the synagogue. And that's it on the Primetime News for tonight. But before we go, a recap of our major stories. A suicide bomber struck in the popular Central Motor Park Market in Mayan Tasha in the Yobe State capital, Damaturu, killing 10 people. We also reported that the campaign team of President Goodluck Jonathan said former President Olusegun Obasanjo is trying to play God following his recent attacks on the president over what the ex-president termed the Gbagbo syndrome. Finally, Borno State government has declared a work-free day for the campaign rally of the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari. And that's it for tonight. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Ebuloma Adekunle, wishing you a pleasant night rest.